Alright, we've got the metal done here. I put actually I know I said a coat of Griffin sepia, but I actually ended up going with some better black just to not to warm it up too much. I was trying to keep it in line with the cool colors we had going on here. We had purple is about as warm as we want to go, so didn't want to add too much more red to it with the Griffin sepia. Okay, so I guess next we've got the shoes here, and I think actually let's do those in the same metal. So this should be quick and painless. Let's get a little more water back in that. It's starting to dry out on the palette. So just right over that whole thing. There we go. So now the shoes match the corset and the metal plating and the shepherd's crook. So looking pretty good there. As soon as that dries up, we'll do some better black on that as well. In the meantime, we can do on some of these belts and things around her waist and her leggings. What I'd like to do is try and pick out some of that detail again, and those are in the lower half of the legging is in the black blue, and this is in the black purple. So let's get just a little tiny bit of purple, and we'll do a little bit of dry brushing. I've got some skull white and just a little bit of the Leviathan purple. We don't want to dilute it at all. We're going to dry brush just a little bit here, so mix up just a little bit of the Leviathan purple with the skull white and wipe off as much as you can on a paper towel. Then what we're going to do is just dry brush down just a little bit on these belts, just to try and pick up the top edges, a little bit of detail. So there we go. Starting to pop out just a little bit, and we're going to do a little bit of that on the cloak as well. So I'm going to get just a little more on the brush here. Okay, and we're going to start right up here at the top where it's going to be the lightest. We're going to just do a little bit of dry brush, just getting lighter and lighter as we go down. Okay, so now we've picked up some of the edges there. We'll get just a little on the front here, because that's in a pretty bright area too. So now that was super easy. So got that. We're going to do just a little bit also. There's a few little feathers sticking up from around the leggings. So we're going to get those real quick. I'm going to try not to hit any of the areas around, but we want to make sure that those are highlighted so that you can actually see them. Okay. So, that's looking good. Now, if you notice, on the belts, we've got belt buckle, and some little bangles. It looks like we've got 5 little somethings there hanging on those. We're going to come back eventually and get those with a little bit of the metallic mix here. In fact, while we're thinking about it, let's go ahead and do that now, before it all dries up on the palette. Got just a little bit of it left, so let's do it. Okay. Nothing too fancy, just get the brush close enough to rake a little bit of that silver off. Just going to sort of graze the edges there. There we are. Now we've got some belt buckles, and the little bangles are all metallic now. Alright. And you know what? There's a little round piece there in the middle of her cowl. Let's paint that too. Ooh. There we go. I'm not sure you can tell that that's actually metallic compared to the purple feathers next to it, but it is. Okay, there we go. You can sort of see it there. Alright. So now she's looking more and more complete as the minutes go on here. Let's get a little bit of that black on her shoes, since I'm sure they're dry now. There we go. Hold on, those will dry up nicely. And then all we've got left to do is the staff. I guess we should go ahead and get a little bit of highlighting done on these lower leggings here. We don't want too much because we want them to be in shadow, but they are looking a little homogeneous at the moment. So let's we're basically going to do the exact same thing again. We're getting a little bit of the Azurman blue, we're mixing it with Skull White, and we're going to do just a little bit of dry brushing here. I'm going to wipe off most of this. Okay. I'm really only going to focus on pulling down. We don't care about the undersides of things, because those are all going to be in shadow. And those surfaces are pretty well highlighted already, so we're not too concerned about those. So that's what we've got. Just ran those through a little bit of highlighting. And if you want to, you can go in and do the silvering on the belt buckles. I'm going to do that off camera, but let's go ahead and do the staff here. Let's do this middle part in some more of that bootstrap leather from the P3 line, and we're just going to do a real simple flat coat and then wash. Okay. So, oh, there's a little tiny bit down here under this. Let's get that. And if you can avoid getting it onto the wrap, then do it, but if it gets a little bit on there, not a big deal. Okay, so that's good. We're gonna let that dry, and we're gonna hit it with some Devlin mud, just to give it sort of a woody look. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and let's you know what? While we're waiting for that to dry, let's go ahead and get these straps done too, and we'll get the straps on her arm in the same color. We're gonna do those in Deneb Stone, and then we're going to wash them with Griffin Sepia, because I feel like that gives a really nice, sort of worn, maybe even dingy linen look. So let's just go over this real quick. And this is just straight Deneb Stone. I've added a little bit of water to help it not clump up as much as it normally would. All of the foundation paints are a little on the stiff side. The ones from Citadel, that is. Great paint, very high opacity, lots of pigment, but they do tend to be a little thick. So you gotta water them down. And that's okay, because that means when they're watered down in the state you want them in, they've got at least as much pigment as any other normal paint in its normal viscosity. So it's a very nice tool to have in your arsenal. Okay. Okay, so we got those, and let's get her arm here. Just a little on the underside left. And we are almost home free. Ooh, I accidentally touched the part of the brown that we touched, or we painted a second ago. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and touch up the brown that I kind of messed up there, and then I'm gonna hit all of the stuff that we just painted with Griffin Sepia. I think we're gonna skip the Devil and Mud on that and just go with the sepia. I think that'll look nice, and it'll complement nicely with the wraps if I use the same wash. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in a sec to show what I can only assume is probably the finished product. So here's what we got for finished product. I did end up using a mixture of Devil and Mud and Griffin Sepia on the wooden parts of the staff. The Griffin Sepia alone didn't really cut it. So I also went back in and did a little bit of silvering on the buckles down here, on the legs, and the crook up here is the mix that we did for all the rest of the metal plating, with a little bit of Bad Eye Black over the top, and then dry brushed with just plain chainmail metal again. So we picked back up some of those high points again. Overall, I think this was a very quick model to paint. Should be a pretty easy one for you guys to do, and you can apply these techniques to just about any model. So, hope you have fun, and we'll see you in the next video.